I have a lot of emotion. One, it excites me that there are people willing to do whatever it takes for justice. I'm making this video because, one, you may not know what's going on. Two, I grew up hearing when I was a child, not really understanding what was going on, but I grew up hearing, why during the LA riots did they tear up their own communities? Why did they do that? So I've heard other people explain why, but I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to explain it, but I'm going to explain it a little different. I'm going to break this down. And like I said, a lot of this information has come from other people, but I think I'm going to say it a little different. I hope I say it a little different.
Back to the big story. More than 24 Shelby County Sheriff's deputies and Memphis police officers were injured last night in a riot. Some journalists were injured and attacked as well.
Never you mind that one of our people are dead. Not hurt, not injured, not nothing. Dead.
Well, people flooded the streets after they heard that U.S. Marshals shot and killed a man who they were seeking. He had active warrants. Yeah.
According to Heavy.com, 4 past cases come up for Weber in Shelby County court records. In 2018, he was cited with minor traffic offenses. That same year, he had a felony arrest. Charges that in that case included tampering, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia, probably weed. And we all know how unfair the justice system is in prosecuting people, not even people, black people, with drug arrests, okay? Earlier in 2018, he had traffic offenses. His final case in 2017 was unlawful possession of a weapon. The case was dismissed for lack of prosecution. So, question. If they got evidence on you, why would they lack to prosecute you for a weapons possession charge? Sounds like the charge was probably bullshit, right?
The neighbors took their anger out on the police officers, their cruisers, and a nearby fire station. Fox 13's Lauren Coleman is live outside that fire station 31 on Overton Crossing and Hawkins Mill Road. What does it look like, Lauren?
Well, Ernie, we're getting a closer look at that aftermath from last night's riot. If you take a look at the sidewalk here, there's several pieces of concrete. These were just some of the many items that were used to throw at officers, to throw at buildings in the area, including Fire Station 31.
Just remember what she said they were armed with, okay?
It's chaos. In addition to this fire station that was damaged, there was a concrete wall outside of a business that was also torn down. Director Mike Rawlings with the Memphis Police Department, he held a news conference last night and he commented on last night's violence. This is what he had to say.
The Memphis Police Department, we've been very supportive of protests, but we will not allow any acts of violence. We will not allow destruction of property. We will not allow acts of vandalism to occur. And, again, I will continue to commend the officers for the enormous restraint they showed tonight.
Mike Rawlings wants you to give him your children. Give him your children. Let him sacrifice your children to the Memphis Police Department so he can keep his job as a director in the Memphis Police Department. Yes, he supports protests when, they shoot our family members 20 times on their own front lawn or their family members' front lawn. Protest when that happens. I'm not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything to stop it. But protest when that happens. But don't you dare protest and include acts of violence, even though we're murdering you. Don't you dare cause destruction of property, even though we're murdering you. Don't you dare commit acts of vandalism, even though we're murdering you. No, don't do that. He commends the officer on their restraint. That sounded like code word for we could have mowed all you niggas down. You know what they're neglecting to tell you? When they shot Brandon 16 to 20 times, Brandon was already handcuffed.
Folks lining up like they right, bro. These folks lining up like they right, bro. These folks lining up like they right, bro. This shit crazy, bro. This shit crazy hell, fool, on God, bro. This shit crazy hell, fool. These folks lining up like they right, bro. Look at these bitches, bro. These folks just killed my motherfucking cousin, bro. These folks just killed my motherfucking cousin, bro. This shit crazy, bro. This shit done killed.
Tell you what we have seen here in the 2000 block of Durham. We've seen officers come back to their patrol cars and actually get their auxiliary weapons. I've seen AR-15s. I've seen shotguns. We've seen those officers, and if you take a good look down the street, you can see those shotguns and AR-15s are on the backs of those officers.
It's a very tense situation, as you can see. We know that right now all of this is stemming from. All right, thanks, guys.
We taking over your job. Fuck 23.
What sign to go to?
You okay?
What sign to go to?
Fraser area, as you can see, it's a very tense situation, as you can see. We know that right now all of this is stemming from a shooting that happened earlier today. All right, as you can see, all right, thanks, guys.
We taking over your job. Fuck 12.
You know, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that when I was a kid, I used to hear all the time, why did the citizens of LA tear up their own neighborhoods? And I used to be like, you know, used to hear that's so silly. You live there. Why would you tear it up? You know what I mean? Number one, they lived there, but they didn't own it. That's number one. Number two, it wasn't Rodney King. Rodney King was like the last straw. There would have been a couple of things that had gone on. I think it was a young girl that got shot in a store by a Korean grocery store, and in the back of the head, and the grocery store owner got off. So it was a couple of things that sent them into fighting back. And you know, you don't really want to see things escalate to this. But what other choice are we being given? Let's be honest. What other choice are we being given? We're not getting justice in the courts. We're not getting justice anywhere. They're shooting our children with handcuffs on every single day. They're slamming our girls down to the ground in their face. What other choice do we have? I've asked this question before. When have you ever stopped a bully, somebody bullying you with love? Not ever. Not ever. I've been bullied by boys. I've been bullied by girls. Mostly all the situations I had to stand up and prove that I was willing to get my ass whooped because I was small. To get my ass whooped and stand and fight rather than let this person push me around for the rest of the goddamn school year. And it was only then, after that, we could be friends. Because that person now saw me as an equal instead of some little girl to push around. We are the people that people are just pushing around. And in Memphis, they said no more, not today. They said not today. And I ain't mad at them. I'm not mad at them. You know who I am mad at? The police officers who shot that child 20 times while he was in handcuffs. That's who I'm mad at. I'm not mad at a couple of people who had some rocks.
Put on the masks so that we can all become anonymous. And then therefore we are able to move more freely and do what we need to do, whether it is illegal or not.
So some people will push back on that and say that the black bloc is to keep people from being identified and arrested when they break the law, when they commit crime.
Damn right. It's a good way to avoid the ramifications of law enforcement.
We saw that firsthand at a May Day protest in the city.
We cover our face because the Nazis will try to find out who we are. And that is a very bad thing because they harass people. When they organize, they kill people, they hurt people, they fight people. And we're the ones who are fighting back. They are the second coming of Hitler.
Police in Berkeley told us they haven't seen this kind of destruction since the 1960s. Law enforcement in other cities are dealing with similar situations, like in Portland, Oregon, where Antifa have been involved in at least 10 protests ending in violence, according to police. And it's wearing on the community.
It is new. It's like this rumble mentality of, I'm going to bring my friends, you bring your friends, and we're going to fight it out in the park. It's not something we've seen here. It's not good for the city. People are just frustrated by it. It's affecting their livability. It's affecting their business.
If there are the more hardcore elements, the white supremacists and neo-Nazis that go to these rallies that are itching for a fight, we're there to say, we'll stand in your way.